India's Education Minister has stepped down after weeks of youth-led protests over a major examination scandal. Dharmendra Pradhan announced his resignation on social media just as police fired tear gas to scatter young protesters in New Delhi. The violence flared hours before leaders of the so-called Cockroach movement were set to hold talks with ministers. The protests are seen as the biggest challenge to Modi's leadership since he took office in 2014. Pradhan's resignation had been a key demand of the movement. Our DW correspondent Adil Bhatt is monitoring the situation from Delhi. Adil, what do we know about the minister's decision here?
Well, first of all, it's a massive victory for protesters, students, and also for Cockroach Janata Party. We have seen visuals coming from Jantar Mandir, the designated protesting site, where we saw the founder of Cockroach Janata Party, Abhijeet Dipke, announcing the resignation of Education Minister of India, Dharmendra Pradhan. He announced on the podium that and shouted in front of thousands of people, where he said that Dharmendra Pradhan has resigned from his post, and the crowd, which was like protesters and students, there was a movement of jubilation. There was a movement of excitement. We saw people on the streets dancing, singing songs, and we saw people also using slogans that. And then after that, the reaction that we saw from the crowd and Abhijeet Dipke kind of addressing them, he said, if you kind of protest against this government, they're ready to accept your demands. So in democracy, you don't have to fear. We have to keep protesting. We have to give them signal that unless and until you don't listen to the demands of protesters, we won't back down. So in this case, it's a massive, massive victory for definitely for students, for Cockroach Janata Party, but kind of a huge setback for Prime Minister Modi, because Modi's image in India is kind of a strong man. He doesn't budge. He doesn't show any signs of weakness. But this time, after farmer protest, this is the second time we saw Prime Minister Modi kind of accepting the demands of students, protesters, and Cockroach Janata Party. So huge, massive news and really exciting news for protesters and students from New Delhi.
So, Adil, the protesters have got this victory, this massive victory as you describe it. Will this movement, the Cockroaches, now end their protests that have been happening right across India?
That's what they said. That was their main demand. The main demand was the resignation of Education Minister of India, Dharmendra Pradhan. Now that has been accepted. Apart from that, let me give you some context. There were 2 rounds of talks so far. Yesterday was second round of talks in which there were like 3 major demands. The first was resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan as Education Minister, which was accepted. Second was the compensation for students who died because of exam leaks. That's pending now. And third one was you don't have to file any cases or charges against protesters or students who were protesting near Jantar Mandir. So the first demand has been accepted, 2 more demands are pending, and now they have added 1 more demand that they expect Delhi police to post an apology for students because they accuse them of police brutality. So first demand has been met so far. There are other 3 demands. So according to Cockroach Janata Party's manifesto, or they're updating their roster, they said first demand has been accepted. They will still like to continue unless until 3 other demands are not accepted. So we have to. So far, the signaling is unless until you don't accept all these 3 major demands, we are not going to leave the protesting site.
Adil Bhatt with the latest in Delhi. Always great to talk. Thanks as always.